So in time as they join, proceed with this session. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to this third, I think now, Eric, monthly Mapathon for mapping groups in Tanzania. I'm Janet Chapman, the chair of Tanzania Development Trust and founder of Crowd2Map. Eric, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Erick Tamba Youthmapper's regional ambassador and representing Youthmappers in the East African region and on all over the network as well. Yeah, thank you for that short introduction, Janet.
Thank you. So Eric, are you going to present first?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll do that. Let me just
to say, it would be great if people can introduce themselves in the chat, maybe put their OpenStreetMap username if they want to, any useful links and so on. That would be really useful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Let me know, Janet, if you see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. So thank you so much. Let me just get ahead with the presentation. Yeah, okay. So basically in this Mapathon, SM Youthmappers are showcasing their work. I mean, what they have been doing from the start of their chapter, all the basics of their projects, so that we can share some knowledge with others as well from other chapters and see the need of continuing contributing to open data that actually does good for development purposes. So this is a chapter, and this was a photo taken during a joint Mapathon it was May, I think. Yeah, so this is a chapter at Sokoine University of Agriculture, and most of the people you see in the picture are students taking various courses there at Sokoine University of Agriculture. So of course there are two campuses at Sokoine. There's a main campus and there's also one Malangu campus. So the chapter basically is based at Mazimbu campus. So it's called SM Youthmappers. So as I introduced earlier, my name is Erick Tamba I'm a bachelor holder of environmental sciences and management, also a GIS specialist as well as a researcher, and currently working as Youthmappers regional ambassador. And so, yeah, to get started with the first activities, as we talked about these chapters in Tanzania. So when you establish a chapter, you start learning mapping, and then later on you become more advanced and have these Mapathons, field projects and all that. So there is this opportunities for every chapter to have those opportunities to implement their own projects, their own challenges, to address their own challenges in their local communities. So basically SM Youthmappers had their first program, which was a fieldwork program that was granted by Youthmappers. And so, let me just, how do I hide this? So this project was powered by Youthmappers, and in the first project, the challenge that was presented was that local communities that are vulnerable to floods experience both primary and secondary effects. So here include, let's say, spread of diseases. And when we don't have that enough data to address these disaster challenges, the stakeholders cannot prepare, cannot respond, cannot recover or plan or as well mitigate for these challenges that are happening in the local communities. So with that said, here is a focused hotspot. Like we noticed the challenge directly from the university. We had, let's say, a river channel flowing in between our university and the residents. So normally when it gets flooded here, we are the first people to experience those effects. And normally some students fail to attend school due to those flood challenges. So the objective actually in the first project were to identify flood vulnerable areas within Morogoro urban and collect trash points. I mean the waste trash point in households. So why did we do that? As I mentioned earlier, stakeholders need to respond, need to recover, plan, as well as mitigate, and also prepare for this kind of events that actually we know have a lot of impact in our communities. So on the first project, it was basically based in Morogoro urban, Morogoro municipal. And as I said, we had the first data collection aspect where we collected trash points as well as household survey. And so, yeah, on our results, we have that information. I think after the call, we'll also share that. And actually from our SMCOSE Youthmappers social medias, as well as blogs and all that, there's a lot of information there concerning the project. And basically this was mapping those areas, as you see on the map, is areas that are normally affected by floods. And so, yeah, on the other aspect of collecting trash points, here in this map, you see that there are areas, these dots here. This is areas where SMCOSE Youthmappers went in and collected this data that actually are presented, and any stakeholder has access to them to use them whenever they have, they are working with something around these areas. And yeah, so we hosted our first workshop, and yeah, on the workshop, we talked about a lot, like how can the data be used? So one of the things is mapping the best waste collection route in Mazimbu. So this was just an example of how that could be done, and it was demonstrated to the students, and yeah, we got some brief understanding on how the data we used can do a lot of good. Yeah. So jumping into the second opportunity that we had is OMDTZ microgrants, and this was an application last year, I think 2021, and we are among of people who are among the chapters or OSM communities that were awarded this grant. And SMCOSE Youthmappers, yeah, you can see other chapters like SOSA Youthmappers, as well as IRDP, Dodoma Youthmappers also had this opportunity to have this grant to make their, to implement their own projects. Yeah, so from there, I think we extended the efforts, and our project was actually aiming to collect solid waste data collection, and basically like plastic bottles in the drainage system, as we know that whenever rain comes and there are plastics there, they tend to block the drainage. And so, yeah, in that time, they result to flash floods in Morogoro municipal. So we aim to tackle the problem in this aspect of collecting waste data collection, and specifically for plastic bottles and siltation as well. So one of another milestone, I think the major objective as well in this project was not only to map how to collect and map the waste, the plastic bottles in the drainage, but as well map the flow of plastic bottles through a machine learning model that will classify areas in terms of flash floods. And actually, this model is currently it's under review. So whenever it's ready, we will launch it, and we'll able to share with the community on how the model works, and maybe it can be implemented in other areas as well. So in the previous project, we also collected about 3,000 spatial data concerning those plastic bottles in the drainage system. yeah, so that was the second project. And the third one, like the current project that I've been working on is what we call mapping flood protection zone as well as evacuation routes in areas that actually to give response to give the ability of stakeholders to respond to those flood events, like know actually which are areas more protected from floods, so that even local citizens can understand during those events they can rush to there and not actually. And we noted that rushing to there needs a way to go. So we are also mapping the evacuation routes, like what is the best route for you to reach those flood protection zones. So basically, the idea behind was, the opportunity behind that was the announcement of Global Integrated Flood and Drought Management Competition. And this was for the youth-led projects. And so youth mappers had submitted their proposal and pitched that in front of the jury, and they are granted that opportunities. So yeah, our donors, or the ones who made this event, this project to be implemented, were WMO and Global Water Partnership, who have that initiative called Global Integrated Flood and Drought Management Competition. Program, and through that there was a competition for youth-led projects. So as well, you have to start with a challenge. Like what's really the challenge in there, and you address that challenge. So the presented challenge was like there are efforts done, but there are no maps that tell what is a real situation. Like people know, let's say Mazimbu is more, let's say in lower elevation, but like at what areas is more risky to be in floods. So yeah, so as I said, these efforts, when you're implementing in one area, it's easy to make it possible or to extend that efforts in another area. So currently we extended it to Ifakara Town Council, which has also, let's say, similar aspects in terms of floods. So basically, this was a video taken by Innocent, and this was Mazimbu campus in Morogoro. So this, like, there are farms there, and there's also, if you just see, there are also houses so there are some other buildings inside there having those experiences, those floods. So as well, and in Ifakara Town Council, as you see, Ifakara is located just below the floodplain. So here, in this darker part, we have this, we call it Kilombero floodplain, where there's River Kilombero passing here. So Ifakara is located just below here. And at a closer look, you also notice that there is a river passing in between the residents. So normally when there's heavy rainfall, there are citizens around here having those challenges in terms, by that I mean floods events. So yeah, through that challenge, we proposed that title, that mapping flood protection zone and evacuation routes to improve response capabilities. And this is a case study of Morogoro region as well as Ifakara Town Council. Yeah, so the objectives actually were three. So the first one was community data gathering, and by this we had two aspects, two categories. We categorized them into two. One is remote mapping, and the other one is field data collection. So yeah, in remote mapping, we actually host projects we have already done that. Actually, we have hosted projects to map buildings and roads that will help in the next milestone of the project. So simply as mappers, what we do always is contribute to data. So we'll have that mapping, and validation will follow. Then after the data is validated, data analysis will follow by, let's say, using that data that has already been there for mapping flood protection zone as well as evacuation routes. So the second milestone is mapping flood protection zones, and this will use both analysis. For instance, we have terrain analysis and network analysis. Yeah, and the third milestone is to disseminate these findings, and this will be through workshops and trainings to stakeholders. And by this, I mean we target the local government, the academia, institutions, various institutions, as well as NGOs, and we'll share this data openly because it's it's good to have those data there for everyone whenever they need it to use it. So basically, we'll share that in OpenStreetMap as well as climate risk database in the Resilience Academy, where we understand that the data is also available for everyone to use in that database. So just diving in the timeline, like how we implementing that project till now, we have we had the concept note earlier to the jury, we had that pitch, and now we are we also kickstarted and developed some partnership in the region, and so we are currently in the first milestone where we intend to do community data gathering. So as just to point out that on the previous project we did map the, let's say, the flood, the solid waste in the drainage. So this time around we're using that that data together with this data that we are collecting now to help the machine learning model. As we know, the machine learning needs more data to give out the good output. So actually the synergies of this project is also working hand in hand with the previous project in terms of developing the machine learning model. So as I said, we're in the community data gathering, and the accomplishment till now, we have had what we call a conjoint mapathon, and this was to just highlight more chapters in the region. Actually, it was very easy to do that because of the resources and how that the chapters are near, in, let's say, they're in the same region. So we did that for Morogoro municipal, where they have currently 3 chapters there. There is one from Jordan, there is one from Zumbe, and this one from SM Youthmappers. And also we invited one chapter from Dar es Salaam, which is Youthmappers, which is actually a new chapter there, and trying as well to understand what Youthmappers is all about, and they can also use opportunities in the network as well. So we tried to share that through a conjoint mapathon. And yeah, these are some of the pictures that were taken through the conjoint mapathon. And yeah, we had hosted several projects, and actually we can also share the links to them, but for people also and can also have their time to contribute in that. But we basically worked on the first project, which is almost complete, 96%, and currently mappers are also working on to map the rest of this project. So we have distinguished the projects to map flood mapping roads and buildings separately. So there is two projects mapping buildings in Morogoro and Ifakara, as well as two tasks working mapping roads in Morogoro and as well as Ifakara Town Council. Yeah, so what's next is, after we have the data, as I said, we have mapped these projects completely and validated the data. This data will help the field team as well. So there will be a field data collection. Now, specifically, we had the field data collection more in Morogoro. So like now, in this project, we'll have that field data collection in Ifakara Town Council, since there's no ground data that is collected in Ifakara Town Council. So the team will have those field mappers go to Ifakara and map collect the data that is intended for this project, and any other data as well which is needed, for example, schools and all that. So actually, just to summarize, in our project, all of the project, we have succeeded in engaging the community in terms of field data collection. We normally work with the community, and yeah, as well as the gender part. Also, we have included female participation in a bigger perspective. Like we have almost that nearly equal ratio between male and female in participating in our project. So yeah, just a quick note here is that open source geospatial tools are really relevant for urban planning as well as addressing these local challenges. And yeah, we should use this opportunity actually to address more challenges that normally face our community. So in other aspects, we believe these challenges differ in terms of geography and in the social aspect. So for instance, like Crowd2Map working with female genital mutilation, I think that's a big challenge in the northern part of Tanzania. And and you can also notice that challenge in areas. So use that opportunity, use the challenges to address that. Use the open source technology to address those challenges. And I think we'll be doing a better good for the community. So yeah, just a quick note as well. Something just to highlight, like I had this opportunity to attend the webinar for Water Youth Network, and these are some of the support like youth tried to mention, like what they really need. And so first thing is networking. So we really intend like people, let's network first, like sharing these experiences with other people from other areas. You get to understand their perspective, then you learn and exchange those knowledge as well, and try to use those lesson learned to elaborate, like to address challenges in your areas. So yeah, these are some of the support that you tried to mention. Just to read a few, like young people need fund for young researchers. They need field visits as well. Yeah, sure. I think for other chapters in the coming month, I'll be having that program visiting chapters far away from where I am currently based. So hoping to be in Mwanza, being in Muleba, and visiting all those chapters as well. Keep learning from professionals. Yeah, that's a good thing as well as having, let's say, involve youth in decision making. Yeah, and make community feel involved. Yeah, that's also another thing that was mentioned here. And also make the existing networks publicized. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so with that said, I think thank you for your attention, guys. And yeah, with that short presentation, back to you, Janet.
Thank you, Eric. That was fantastic, and really good to hear about that work and the importance of networking, which is one of the main things that we're hoping to do with these groups. Does anybody have any questions? I can't see any in the chat. Does anybody want to come off mute and ask them? Okay, I have a couple then. Maybe you could put the link to the climate risk database in the chat somewhere, Eric. And also I wondered, what was the involvement of local government for the projects in Morogoro?
Yeah, sure. I'll just share the links there in the chat as well as after the session to follow up on people who registered. So basically, we had involved the local government in the second phase, where we submitted a report to them, as well as as I said, we are trying to demonstrate in the second project the machine learning model that could help them track this, prepare for this flood event, and make, let's say, have the survey, proper survey to the let's say the drainage system, checking if there is it's really not blocked, or let's say make cleanness to them. So basically, we submitted first the report to them, and yeah, we're still having that conversation with them on how these projects can help them.
And are you optimistic that they will use your data?
Yeah, sure. They really had that positive view, and I think Mr. Gideon was also with us as the GOT coordinator, which is also an NGO working in with SM Kosa Youth Mappers and the community. So I think Gideon, can you just give out some feedbacks from thank you, Vice and Gideon, welcome.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you, you all others. Just to add on the question asked by Madam Janet, also to let others know, is that on the implementation of the projects that were addressed by Eric, we had an inclusion of the local government earlier before we went to the field. As, for example, on the issue of data collection, we had a good time with the local government officials working on the environment, working on the risk management, on the designing of tools that were necessary for us during the data collection. I mean, we had a time, or we had a moment discussing with them what are the most relevant kind of information that's the most likely to be collected from the environment, so that in whatever way, one way or another, they may be useful for them. As for example, in our case, we had not much to do with the effect of siltation on the contribution to siltation, to flood occurrence in the municipal. But as we had a moment to interact with them, they also had in concern that the issue of siltation should also be noted, so as we may be able to integrate both the effect of plastic as well the effect of siltation that's often occur due to a little bit improper drainage system that are constructed in our localities. And thereafter, we had a moment afterwards when we submitted the final report, where we had a moment to discuss and highlight some of issues that were quite more necessary to be addressed in the ongoing project by then at that time. So we came back, we adjusted the report, we provided the suggestions as well as recommendation to whatever subject they wanted us to address. Later on, we went back and have a thorough discussion, and at last we had agreed that they will see upon their resources and the need for them to make use of the information, the resources that we provided, the suggestion, whatever thing that they will find useful in the work being done, they will have to replicate it practically in their local environment. So we still have very close communication with them, because they appreciate that it's kind of expert type of assistance. So we still work closely with them, and there have been so many frequent calls trying to note or trying to ask on some issues. As we are moving forward, we expect we are creating a very closely collaborations or a relationship between we and the local governments that we are working with right at this time. That's so far what we have been able to establish or to work on in bringing up and maintaining the relationship between the projects that we are undertaking and the accomplishment of the goals that the local government wants or would wish for us to contribute in the implementation of the daily routines. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. And I wondered, were the local government using open tools, geospatial tools, before this project?
I'm not so sure if they've been using it that much widely, because I can bear a witness upon the experience that we had noticed when we were interacting with the local government. They have little knowledge, or I call it, the way they perceive the power of open data, still it's quite limited, because I think for most of us, we know that most of these people in the government, they are trying to find another way of making something out of the normal routines that they often have. So they prefer doing much of their stuff on their own way, but they sometimes come to a point and appreciate perhaps we should opt for the open data, because in whatever way possible they appreciate that it's quite more nice for them to do their deeds. Still, it's quite limited due to availability of resources and the time spent for collection of such data, which could be easily be accessible via open data sources. So there is something that we note: as much as we keep on interacting with the local government officials, there is a way we can develop the culture for them to appreciate and to value the content or the context of making use of open data, rather than depending on the formal or the local way that they are used to in appreciating sources of data that they are willing to make decision upon those kind of data. So still, I can say we need to make them to appreciate, as much as we interact with them, as much as we give them chance to be exposed to the importance, the value, and the essence of making use of open data. There is a way the community and the leaders who are making decisions for the rest of the community, there will be a point where they will come and appreciate the essence and the value of using the open data.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody else has any good examples of local government using open data well. Can anyone comment on that? I think there has been some in Wanza. Eric, do you know anything about that, or Herry?
Okay. Involving the local government in this kind of project is very crucial, but making sure that they normally use the data. I think in Mwanza they've tried to involve local government office, but in a specific area on the planning, because they involved them on how they can use open data for planning. But also in the project that we did in Mugoma Serengeti, we tried to involve the local government on how they can use the head set of data that we collected on planning, and making sure that they can use it to try to solve the problem that the community are facing in their villages. So and also we involved like gender-based police offices and social welfares on accessing of those data whenever we've got the challenge of the victim around the community or the village, and reaching out for the nearest health center facility so that they can get the service that they acquire. But as involving the local government is very crucial, but the using of the data for themselves, it's really difficult. You have to keep on encouraging them, teaching them, training them on how they can use it and how can it be beneficial. So I think it's more like more of an effort to decide to make sure that these can have an impact to the community, so that you have to keep on training them for that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Herry. Eric, I don't know if you can say a bit more about the machine learning that you mentioned and who developed that?
Yeah, so we have also been working with Frank Anderson, who is also a Earth observation and IT specialist at Global Water Partnership here in Tanzania. So he was previous Youthmapper's president and now a technical advisor. And in the next month. I think it's nearly complete. So I think we'll have that shared once it's done. And yeah, I think that's what I can say right now. And if he was in the call, I think he could have more to say on that. But yeah, sure, in the next session, I'll also try my best to invite him in.
Brilliant, thank you. And thank you for posting those links to the tools at Resilience Academy. I don't know if you want to say anything about them.
Yeah, sure. So Resilience Academy works with almost four universities. So I was one of the participants. I think when I was in the university, had that industrial training. And so they're also having this data collection, and they have that open platform for data to be shared. So actually, the Resilience Academy has not only the data, but the maps that are really important, including the flood challenges at the Msimbazi River. So yeah, we have been noticing that currently repeatedly those floods in Msimbazi. So they started with that major problem there, but doing that, they've been working with University at Ardhi. So I think if there are students here in Ardhi, Sokoine University as well, and University of Dar es Salaam, yeah, and also Sula Youthmapper, State University in Zanzibar. So those students have been helping in the field data collection, as well as by doing that, they get to know what we call this open, using GIS, QGIS, all those softwares on how to design, how to visualize the data they collected. So as well, they've also been hosting visualization challenges, which some of the members at SMCOSE Youthmappers also had that opportunity and had won that in 2020. So whenever these opportunities come in, Youthmappers as well, we'll have that shared with you, and please use those opportunities to understand more on how you can use the data that we're collecting in OpenStreetMap and public data to address those challenges. So I think from the website or the links that I've shared, there's a lot to interact. Yeah, I think for now, I just have to, I think that's enough.
Thank you. Well, perhaps in a future session, maybe somebody can talk through some of those tools and demonstrate some of them, if that's of interest.
Yeah, sure. I think that will be great. I think we'll have to arrange that and invite someone who can combine those at once, so that people can know not only how to contribute the data, but to visualize or use the data that they've collected. Yeah.
Thank you. And you mentioned the visualization challenge. Is that an ongoing thing? When will the next one be? And can anybody contribute?
Yeah, so basically they've been hosting that after the industrial training. So with that said, I think this year, when they have that announced, we'll share it. But the last one they organized was in 2020. So I'm not sure for the last year if they had that. But what they do the industrial training first, and this is normally at the end of the school semesters where students go for fieldwork program. They call it a field practical training. So they recruit some students from those universities, and most of them actually are Youthmappers because they have that experiences in using the public geospatial tools. So through that industrial training, they train them, and later on they announce that for the majority, actually, any university can use that opportunity. So once it's there, I think this year, hopefully they will announce that. I'm just looking in because they have been having those talks, and through their social medias and their website, I think there are this current information in there. So I hope so this year, maybe they will have that opportunity.
Thank you. Any other questions?
And sorry, just a quick one to remind youth mappers, we have those opportunities. If we just go to youth mappers social medias, and yeah, currently we have one that its deadline is today, it's 25th. So the opportunity is applying for what we call Youth Leadership Fellows Summit, where after you apply, you'll have those selection, and in the year 2023, members from various chapters will meet in Jamaica and have those in the summit. They will be introduced to leadership skills and how to lead in not only the chapters as well as in other professionals as well. So I think that's the opportunity, and this deadline is today, 25th June. So I wanted to have a reminder on that. Yeah, I think, thank you, Janet, for also posting the link. Please, if you're youth mappers in here, use that opportunity as well. And so we'll also be having what we call, we have Youth Mappers Academy, which was launched in June 20. So that is Academy for experienced mappers. I think we had that first in this year for beginners, just to get to know OSM, youth mappers, and how to get started mapping. So this this academic track is introducing you to more efficient tools for mapping, including GeoZoom and all that. So please apply it by Sunday. I think they just extended it, but you have that opportunity as well to apply and follow through the academic track. So also in the next session, basically, I think it will be on time. I think we'll also have something to share on how to get started with that. And the last thing, we have GeoZoom training hosted by Youth Mappers Validation Hub on 28th June, and we'll have that link and registration as well as the link to the session shared with you in your groups. And the last thing, just to assure people who attended this call, you'll be compensated with your data bundles. So I'll just have a quick look on the, Janet will maybe you'll also help me from the another end, like get the list of people who attended, and as well as for people, RDP ones who were at the session yesterday. I think we'll have that done by today, and I'll be working with them just after the call. So thank you guys for joining. Janet, back to you.
Thank you. So I put the link for the Youth Mappers Academy, but that was just the basic one. I'm not sure how do people apply for the advanced one?
Yeah, I'll also share that link now. Let me just look into it, then I'll just share it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. And also, do you know anything about the field work application? Because I think that is that open now? Maybe not.
No, not yet. I think it will be announced, just like how this leadership summit fellow opportunities announced. So they normally have that interval of announcing that. So yeah.
But I understand that it will be announced soon, the fieldwork one. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, sure. They normally host that in every year. They have that opportunity for people, for chapters to apply it and have that opportunity. So basically, in the past few years, it was not possible due to COVID. And so I think it is, I think this year we'll have that opportunity at the end of the year, I think in November or August. I think by August to November, I think it will be announced.
Great. And is there anybody here that has had been successful with that, with Youth Mapper fieldwork application? Or otherwise, maybe you have some examples.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's as I just mentioned on the previous project. I think SM Youth Mappers had that applying for it directly. Just you submit a proposal, like what is the challenge you're trying to solve in your community, what the objectives, and actually also the budget and everything that is needed, the work plan as well that is needed for that project. And so they will have that reviewed and shared. I think that's the normal way of submitting those fieldwork program opportunities through the youth mappers. I think SM course had that opportunity and they have that experience. So once it's there, I think we'll also host a session to share on how to do that.
Fantastic. And also, am I right that you could put in an application for YouthMapper fieldwork, which could also be part of your university course? Because I know for IRDP, for example, they do fieldwork as part of their course, and that could be for youth mappers and your university course. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure. I think I will have that worked on.
Great. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gideon, would you like to say a little bit about geospatial technology and environment links?
Okay, thank you, Janet, for the chance. Okay, the geospatial technology and environment, it's upcoming NGO that has members who are founders who were from the BSc Environmental Science and Management, inspired with the use of geospatial tools and the geospatial science in the field of supporting the community in attaining sustainable development, as well as combating some very common challenges that have been there and that have been not being able to be addressed via the use of geospatial technologies. So the geospatial, or briefly GEOT, it's mainly found in Morogoro, with more of its members found in Morogoro, but there are a few others who are found outside Morogoro. And our engagement, as for this current meantime, we've been able to support some institutions as well as individuals, researchers, on the research work and project work that have so much to do with geospatial related technology involvement and those kind of stuffs. But we are looking forward to have our offices right here at Morogoro, and perhaps very soon we shall officially announce it to be available for whoever who wants to work with us very closely. But in the current meantime, along with working with different research and individuals who are doing research projects, we have been working very closely with the SM course with Mapper as the key supporter on the technical perspective of more of the projects that have been ongoing with the youth mapper. So we are looking forward, as we are developing on the side of the SM course with Mapper. We are also trying to widen up the chances so as for those who will be willingly to work with GEOT, also they can come and work with us alongside working with the SM courses, since due to limited resources and limited opportunities, perhaps we thought there is a need for us to have elsewhere where we can engage in the usual practice, but with an expanded chance to more opportunities and to more places where different individuals can have places to practice whatever good thing that they want to practice for the betterment of the community. So I really welcome you all to join our social media pages. I've sent the links, the tags in the chat box. So please like, share the information that we do post often, so as it may help us develop and reach more people in the community here in the country and outside, so as to promote what we call, or what we often insist that we should promote, a community that has a sustainable development for the current generation and mainly for the future generation. Without few remarks, thank you, Janet, and thank you all for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Herry, I think you were going to share something around organic maps.
Oh, yes. Thank you guys for your great presentation. I just want to talk a bit about how you can use your smartphone and adding the local knowledge to the OpenStreetMap. So for those of the people who don't have a computers, but they have a smartphone, you can also still contribute into the OpenStreetMap. So I'm going to share my screen, try to demonstrate. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. You can now see my screen, right? So if you go to Play Store or App Store to your smartphone, you can download the application that's called Organic Maps. Sorry, Organic Maps. I think this is it's an application like Maps.me, but right now Maps.me doesn't work. So if you can have a chance on or go to your Play Store or App Store and writing Organic Map and searching for a, you can have like this is how it's look like. For me, I already have it, so it's really need me to update. But for you, it will give you an option of installing it into your smartphone. So after installing it, this is how it would be look like. An icon of that program on Organic Map will be like this. So if I click on the Organic Map, you will need to install or download the map of Tanzania, but for me it's already downloaded. So for easy way to download the map of Tanzania, you will have to come to these three lines and you can click on download maps. It will download map regarding the place where you are. So the Tanzania one is already downloaded, but if you want to download more map, if Tanzania is not there, you can go to download map and search for the place or location area where you want to download it. So let's assume everything is okay. You downloaded the map and everything look like this. You will see in Organic Map, it will look like a vector features the OpenStreetMap. It will look like this. So to if you have an OpenStreetMap account already and you want to log in, you want to start contributing into the Organic Map, you will have to go to this three line and go to setting, and go to OpenStreetMap profile. And then there is two options. There is one for login, and there is one, if you don't have an OpenStreetMap account, you have to register. So if I go to OpenStreetMap here, you can put your username, and password, and then you will log in. It's going to take some second to log in, but you can see if you log in, it give you the display name of the display name or your OSM user account. So now you can start on contributing. So I'm going to show you guys on how you can, adding some features to the OpenStreetMap. The same thing you have to go to, if you see the features that you are aware of available on the cloud, but they are not available on the OpenStreetMap, what you can do, you can just add a feature by clicking on these three lines and add a place to the map. And you can see these, cross, the black cross line. You see if you can move your map, but you cannot move that cross. So you can always move around to make sure that you take a coordinate of the exactly location that you want. Let's assume this is the area that I want to add on the map. It has to be center, and I'm clicking on done. And it's gonna give me the category of the feature that I want to add. Let's say the category of the feature is maybe say hospital. So you can always search for the feature that you want to add. So, or hospital, clinic, or doctor, whatever. If I add a clinic, and you will have to add, if you want to write in English or you want to add a language, you can always add. So you have to put the name of the hospital. Let's say it's Kibeyo Hospital. This is just an example. Kibeyo Hospital. And if you know the name of the street of the place, you can always add, let's say there is Bomani, what. So I know the name is like, I add it because it's not there. I'm going to add it as Kibeyo. I'm clicking on done. If you have other information of this, you can always add. And after all of these, I'm going to put save. So if I put save, you can see I've added one feature, which is Kibeyo Hospital there. This is just an example, but you can add so many different features by using organic map, many features. So if I want to know like how many edit did I put, I can just go there. I can go to search, this button of search, and write question mark and write edits. So it can give me like how many edits did I put and how many edits did I upload. You can see here I uploaded recently 10. You can see Kibeyo one was the recently one. So you can see the area that you uploaded. So you can do this mapping whether you have, right? You can, if you don't have a data at the moment, you can add them. But the moment you have a data, the feature will be uploaded directly to the OpenStreetMap, so you can do that. But also it can help you for the searching of other features available. Let's say you are searching for the police station or nearest to you, you know. So it can help you. Maybe you're searching for the bus stop nearest to you. It's going to take some time. So let's say like this is, I'm searching for the Mgumu, and it can always give me the direction. When I say route 2, so when I click on route 2, it can give me the direction from where I am, you know, to reach to the police station nearby me. So you can always use this for navigation, for direction, you know, on those kind of things into organic map. So if you have any question, please reach out. I've just shared the link on the chat for the WhatsApp group that we have. We always are conducting the training on Swahili. Yeah, so yeah, thank you very much. If you have any question, please, you can ask. But this is the very easy way of demonstration on how you can use organic map for mapping and other things. So thank you. Back to you.
Herry, could you just explain how to edit points? For example, the point that you just added, which obviously was not correct. So how could you delete that?
Oh, the funny thing, you cannot delete it by using organic map, but later on I will just go to my computer by using ID editor and search for my edit, and I will delete this one that I've added. So you cannot delete the features that you added by using organic map, but you can delete it by using let's say your computer. When you go to your computer, you can use ID editor to delete it. So this is one of the challenge of using organic map. If you add the feature, you make sure that you are adding the correct feature. But if you are adding the correct feature which is not correct, then bam, you have to give, you have to share your username and everything so that you can tell a person that I added the feature which is very long, and the person can delete that feature. But currently there's no delete feature into the organic map. Thank you. Any question?
Okay, so if really it's better if you're just demonstrating it to not save it, then you don't have that issue.
Yes, but I just want to demonstrate to people to see how the feature will look like when you put all the when you put everything. Okay, it will look like, it will have an icon of the feature that you add. So yeah, that's why I just added it, but it's for me because I will delete it later.
Okay, thank you. So Onesmo has said organic map is very good and simple, but he wants to do more training. What else, what other things did you want to know, Onesmo? You can come off mute and ask if you want.
Okay, thank you. And I understand very few on how to use organic map, but especially once I wanted to map on my street, I need to understand how can I upload and those data that I can be collected from my street.
Yeah, can I answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, Onesmo, it's very true. I think we can have really good session, and I can share the material on how you can use organic map. And also later when you add all the information around your street, and you can also use that data that you added for other purpose. So I think with time, slowly, we will understand all of that, because I just know you are part of Youth Map of IRDP, and we will have the session on demonstrating on all of this. So you will reach a point to where you can be very comfortable in using all the data and everything, but it's very, very easy. As long as you are keen to understand all of the things, then the material are always there, and we will be there to provide the training to you. So thank you.
Yes, if anyone isn't in the WhatsApp group, I've just put the link in again. Then Herry has done a lot of training and continues to, so please do join that. There is also a lot of previous videos, which I'll also put in the chat now. And then Severino has a question about the Youthmapper Academy, saying that it's closed. How can people register? Eric, I don't know if you can answer that.
I just don't understand it, but I'll have the link of registration. I mean, I think it's the deadline it was Friday yesterday, so they've allowed it to receive applications till Sunday, tomorrow. And so basically I'll share the link to register, and it's like right now we have only for the like it's something that is a continuation for those people who attended the previous training. And they had that academic track for ID editor, getting to know OpenStreetMap, the basics. So someone starts from there. So basically, I'll share the link to register, and also I'll have a closer follow-up for those people who have trouble joining the academic track. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Dear Gracias, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. You're muted.
Yes, I mean, if I'm staying in the area, but the network is not well accessible, so it gives me hard situation is to acquire mapping system, or it doesn't matter if network is good or bad. So I need to understand it better about that. So if network is not more supported, so it is easy to access map system, or it is very, very difficult to access.
Herry, I think this is about organic maps, yeah?
Okay, can you please repeat himself, because I didn't really get the question.
I think so, dear Gracias, you can use organic maps even totally offline. As long as you download the app and the map, then it doesn't matter. You can be anywhere with no connectivity, no network, and you can add as many places as you want. And then when you come back and have network, it will upload them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, okay, I understand so far.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
Yeah, so sorry, Janet. I'll have a quick one just for 2 minutes. I'm trying to let me just share this screen for the last time here. So just back to that question about the Youthmappers academic track. So yeah, so basically the first thing that you need as a Youthmappers in order to use this opportunity of Youthmappers Academy is to sign up, and I think I'll just share that link in the chat. So basically, just have that in the chat right now. Sorry, where's the chat? Can't see it. Anyway, I'm finding the chat. I can see it. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. So I have that's I've just posted that. So when you reach in this page, you'll sign up for the. If you didn't use this before, you'll just have to sign up in order to have that your account for tracking your academy. I mean your progress on the course. So basically, if you click login, if you once had that opportunity, you just log in and you'll have your account there. So as I said, currently we have advanced mapping with Youthmappers, this course. And so basically we have JOSM, introduction to mapping with JOSM, advanced JOSM, data management in OSM, gender perspective, planning a field project, field survey development. So these are almost 6 courses that are available now, and as you can see, I have not attended any, but I'll do that. So basically, for those who it's written course, I mean the course is closed. It means it was out of time. It was from January 24th to February 20th. We had that, as I said, we had that first testing this this platform in the year 2021. So this one was like we had also those 6 courses. So now we had that in January, as I said, January 24th, we had the first course. So people participated in this, and currently the course is closed. But now you can enroll for the course of getting to know JOSM, which I think the link to how to apply on that, I'll share it on the link. So basically, I just wanted to highlight that you need to have, you need to sign up in this Youthmappers Academy in order to have that I mean your account first. Yeah, I think, yeah, that was just a quick one, Janet. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you have to be a current member of Youthmappers to do that, or can people who are, otherwise involved sign up?
So this is for the Youthmappers, but I understand that you can use a chapter closer to you to at least register yourself, because there's that aspect that it asks you which Youthmappers chapter are you from. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, were there any other questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you very much to everybody for attending. I will send the recording out to everybody who registered. Eric, if you could send me your slides as well, I could include those. And thank you, Herry, also for presenting, and also for Mr. Gideon. So thank you, everyone.